bothered? Do you think I care? These are some modern ways that many young people say, I don't care. Now, back in the old days with the classic film Gone with the Wind, Vivian Leigh asks with pleading eyes to Clark Gable's character, "My dear, where shall I go?" And Clark Gable's passing words are, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." Now, at the time, there was a lot of controversy about the inclusion of those words in the final film. And the censor at the time reluctantly approved that version of the script to be included in the film. Now, our censors these days, people working on social media, have to take down a lot of more unpleasant things than those words. But those words, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Well, what do they mean? They say, I don't care. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at other alternative ways of saying that. And I will be showing you more formal ways to say, don't worry, it's not a problem. I don't care, it's fine. And more casual ways. So let's begin. If you are in the workplace, you're not going to say, bothered? You're going to say more like, oh, don't worry. It's like water off a duck's back. Ducks are in ponds or some form of water most of the time. Yep. And water, because of the way their feathers are, just glides off their back. And if this is saying like, if anything happens to me, it's just like, I don't care, it's fine. It doesn't worry me. Or you could say, please don't worry. It's not a problem at all. Yeah. Nice, straightforward, simple English. Please don't worry. It's not a problem at all. Now look at the way I'm linking the words in the way they're sounded together. It's not a problem, so the T goes into the A, a problem at all. And this T goes into this A here. It's not a problem at all. At all. So it's more like the T is part of this word than this word. Or, I wouldn't worry. It's fine. I would not worry. If I were you, I would not worry. Okay, use of the conditional tense. It's honestly not a problem. Like, really, 100%, the absolute truth is, this isn't a problem. It's honestly not a problem. Or, if it was a problem, I'd let you know. If it was a problem, I'd let you know. Notice past participle was rather than is, even though it's in the present tense. If this was a problem, I'd let you know. But it's not in the past, it's in the present. If it was a problem, I'd let you know. This is a problem, but we say this if it was a problem. Now, it always makes it more personal if you use a person's name. David, it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. Please. And then you can use a gesture. David's just spilt a cup of coffee all over me. David, it's absolutely fine. Look, I'm putting my hands up like this. When you put your hands like this, you're either saying, it was me, I'm guilty, or it's like, look, it's fine. There's nothing wrong. I'm not going to like hit you with a stick or anything. There's no weapons in my hands. There's no problem. Okay. Or, that's the least of our concerns. Your colleague has just ruined a business deal. That's the least of our concerns. Yeah, I'm being polite. I'm trying to make them feel better. That's the least. That means the very smallest one of our concerns. That's the smallest of our problems. Don't you worry about it. Okay, more casually. Yep. And I've written these out just because they're things that people say the whole time. So what you're going to read here, this isn't like perfect exam style English. This is conversational English. And it's here for the purpose of you sounding more like a local. Yeah. It's not to get you like an awesome mark in a grade, in an exam. This is just to help you kind of to fit in. That's okay, don't worry. And just on that subject, I think it's important that we do try and fit in. You know, if you've come to study in a school in the UK and you come from another culture, it's important that you honour your own culture, but also that you know, really try and integrate with the school society that you're in. So speaking like everyone else is going to help that. Okay, so I'm trying to say, don't worry, that's not a problem. Never mind. It's okay. Forget about it. Never mind. Never, don't ever think about it. Stop thinking about it. It's already over. It's finished. Don't worry about that. Yep, so I'm putting the emphasis, the stress on that. Why would you think about that? That small problem? You've broken my ping pong ball? Oh, don't worry about that. Or, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I kind of like swallow the sounds at the end. Don't worry about it. It'll go blah, 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 blah. Don't worry about it. Or, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I would not worry too much. What you're actually meaning here is don't worry at all. Do no worrying. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, very similar to this. So here often people say mate to express some affection. Sometimes they are actually our friend, sometimes they're not. It's just like a kind of casual way of, you know, referring to someone. Honestly, mate, I really don't care. Honestly, mate, I really don't care. So again, we've got this honestly in there. It's like, you know, really, don't worry, it's fine. Oh, please. Really? You really think I'd get upset by that? Okay. Oh, please. It's almost like you're saying, don't insult me. What do you think I'm like? Do you think I'm like the most complaining person in the world? Really? Do you really think I would get upset? I would sort of get upset by that. Okay, quite a range there. Now, the purpose of this is to show you ways of saying I don't care without swearing. I'm not going to show you swearing because there's much better ways of communicating where you don't have to swear, but I'm now going to show you a few phrases that are a little bit more sort of direct. Okay, so you want to learn these phrases to expand your vocab, so you're not endlessly going to the same phrase and using it again and again and again. I've got a book at home on how to say similar phrases in French and Spanish. And sometimes it's fun to just say stuff in a foreign language. It kind of makes it less personal in a way. So here are some other ways of saying, I don't care. Now, there's a sketch about a teenager in a classroom who is like a stereotype of an angry teenager. And the student is like, bothered? Am I bothered? Do I look bothered? Yeah. So bothered is, do I care? Do I look like I care? Yeah. Do I really care? Do I look like I care? Do I care? Like, no, just like, I'm not interested. So bothered, do I care? But it's just nice to know what that means. I wouldn't sort of say you should start using that phrase in your everyday life. I don't care. Yep. So these are a little bit slightly more cutting, a little bit more to the point than the phrases on the last board. I don't care. Yep. That's kind of like end of conversation. I couldn't give 2 hoots. So hoot, what is a hoot? Well, maybe you think of like a hoot on a sort of a bicycle horn. Hoot, hoot. Yep. I'm so uninterested that I couldn't even go like that on my bicycle horn. Yep. It means that little to me. I'm not too fussed. So fussed, very similar to bothered. To make a fuss about something means to make lots of noise, to create a bit of a scene. So if you're not fussed, then it's not important. It doesn't bother you. I'm not too fussed. Too here meaning excessively. I'm not excessively bothered by that. Don't worry. Doesn't bother me. Yeah, not a problem for me. Doesn't bother me. It doesn't create any unease, any headaches, nothing. It's not a problem. That's the last of my worries. Meaning, you've said something here, but like, I'm dealing with this over here. Like, that is the last of my worries. Yeah, this here is much more important. That's the last of my worries. Not a problem. Yeah, I would say that is the most friendly out of this bunch. Not a problem is actually quite like, we're being nice again. I don't normally give you nasty things to say. This one, again, is a little bit more, you sort the problem out. I'm afraid that's your problem. Yeah, not my fault, your problem. I'm afraid that's your problem. Meaning, I'm really sorry. Well, no, he's not even sorry. Yeah, it's your problem. Whatever. Yeah, this is a typical phrase that teenagers use, saying, it's basically like this again. Like, doesn't bother me. Like, it's not my problem, is it? Whatever. Whatever is quite like dismissive. And we've got the sort of a glottal stop on the T. It's not fully like pronounced, the T. Whatever. Whatever. Can you make that noise? Whatever. This is more polite and formal. Please yourself. If that's what you want to do, you do that. I don't think it's a particularly good idea, but you make yourself happy. Please yourself. See if I care. See if I care. So the other person is doing something, you don't think it's a good idea, and you say, see if I care. Like, you're going to go and do something really stupid, but it's your responsibility. See if I care. I'm just going to carry on living my life over here. Who cares? Yeah, we've got a rhetorical question. It doesn't expect an answer. Who cares? It's like what we're saying here is stop thinking that everyone is obsessed about your drama over there. Yep. If you're going to have a drama, you go and have your drama. We don't all need to be part of your drama. Who cares? This is perhaps my favourite one. I think it's an absolute classic. Not my circus, not my monkeys. It's quite satisfying to say. Not my circus, not my monkeys. And it's a really effective phrase because of the imagery that it conjures up. Yeah, a circus. You know, how kind of colourful and unusual and imaginative is this? It's not my circus. Yep, I am not the ringmaster. I don't have to entertain all the crowd. I don't have to feed the elephants. I don't have to put the monkeys in their cage. None of this is my problem. Yep. And the monkeys aren't mine either. Those cheeky monkeys who are throwing bananas everywhere. It's not my circus and it's not my monkeys. This is not my problem. You, however, have got a little problem because you are going to have to pass the test now, the quiz. Yep, it's out of 10. What do you think you can score? If you've enjoyed watching this video, I do put out lots of different videos onto YouTube, some on academic English, some on business English, vocabulary, idioms. They're all there. So if you're learning English as a foreign language, this is the place to go. If you like my stuff, please share it, okay? Because we're looking to grow this channel, okay? We put a lot of work into these videos, so if you can do your bit by, putting the word out there, we'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.